The company parking lot was quiet in the early morning, wrapped in a thin veil of fog that curled slowly around the rows of parked cars. The sun had not yet fully risen, and the concrete still held the chill of the night. Eli Parker pushed his cleaning cart across the lot, the wheels squeaking softly as he moved from one building entrance to another. He was 44 years old, a single father, and the janitor for one of the fastest-growing tech companies in the region. He wore a faded blue uniform, sleeves rolled up, hands rough from years of work that most people never noticed. He stopped beside an old car parked near the edge of the employee lot, a 1967 Mustang. The paint was chipped and dull, the body worn with age. Rust peeked through at the edges, and the tires looked like they had seen better decades. To anyone passing by, it was junk, a relic that didn't belong among the sleek electric sedans and luxury SUVs surrounding it. Eli rested his hand on the roof for a moment, like greeting an old friend. Just then, glass doors slid open at the front of the building. The CEO stepped out, flanked by a group of investors and executives, all dressed in expensive suits, polished shoes, and confident smiles. Their voices echoed across the lot as they laughed and talked about growth projections and acquisitions. One of the investors stopped mid-sentence and pointed at the Mustang. "What is that junk doing here?" The CEO glanced over, then laughed. "That car? Yeah, that thing's junk." Laughter rippled through the group. Eli stood a few feet away, silent. He didn't react. He simply slipped his keys deeper into his pocket. His phone buzzed. A text from his son. "Dad, don't forget my science fair today." Eli smiled faintly and nodded to himself. "I won't," he whispered. The CEO waved a hand toward the car. "We really need to keep this lot looking professional." Eli stepped forward calmly. "I'll move it," he said quietly. "No one will even know it was here." The security guard nearby nodded. "Go ahead, Eli." No one noticed the weight behind his words. No one knew that in less than 30 seconds, the entire parking lot would fall silent for a very different reason. No one knew that the man they were mocking, this janitor with a cleaning cart, had built something worth over $2 billion, hidden beneath peeling paint and decades of disrespect. His name was Eli Parker. He was 44 years old, a single father, a janitor, and the father of a 10-year-old boy named Noah. Noah was obsessed with science. He loved engine mechanics and understanding how things worked. While other kids played video games, Noah dismantled old radios and asked endless questions about torque, fuel systems, and energy efficiency. Eli's life was simple. Wake up, work, go home, take care of Noah. Repeat. He didn't complain. He didn't ask for recognition. He didn't need attention. He cleaned offices, emptied trash, mopped floors. People walked past him every day without seeing him, and that was fine. Eli was used to it. But the Mustang, that was different. It had belonged to his father. A real 1967 Mustang. Original frame. Classic body. Before his father passed away, he handed Eli the keys and said, "Take care of her. She's got good bones." Eli had kept that promise. He did more than take care of it. He rebuilt it. The exterior stayed the same, chipped paint, worn metal, faded glory. But under the hood, everything was different. Years ago, before Noah was born, before his wife left, Eli had been an engineer, a brilliant one. He worked at a major automotive company, designing engines, innovating systems, pushing boundaries. His colleagues knew it. His supervisors knew it. And when he proposed a revolutionary engine design, hybrid technology, high efficiency, low emissions, durable and scalable, he believed it could change the industry. They rejected it. Too risky. Too expensive. Not proven. Eli returned with data. Models. Prototypes. "We appreciate your enthusiasm," they said, "but we need to focus on proven technology." Eli pushed harder. This could change everything. That's when the tone shifted. "Mr. Parker," they said, "you don't have the credentials to make these decisions. You're a junior engineer. Let the senior team handle strategy." He felt dismissed, undervalued, invisible. Then Noah was coming. Eli needed stability, income, security. So he stopped pushing, stopped fighting, focused on his family. But his wife left anyway when Noah was 2. I didn't sign up for this life, she said. Eli raised Noah alone. Engineering demanded long hours, late nights, travel. Things he couldn't manage as a single father. He made a choice. He quit engineering. He took a janitorial job. Steady hours. No travel. Less pay, much less. But it gave him time with his son. And at night, after Noah fell asleep, Eli went to garage. Not for fame. Not for money. But because he believed in the idea. For 6 years, piece by piece, component by component, he built the engine with his own hands, his own tools, his own time. The Mustang became the test vehicle because it was already there, already his, already meaningful. The frame was old. The paint was chipped. The body was worn. But the engine? The engine was revolutionary. High performance. Low emissions. Fuel efficient. Durable. Reliable. Everything he had designed. Everything he had proposed. Everything they had rejected. Built. Proven. Working. Eli never told anyone. Never advertised. Never sought recognition. He just drove it to work. To the grocery store. To Noah's school. And people saw an old car. A janitor's car. Junk. That was fine. Until this morning. When the CEO laughed. When investors mocked. Something shifted. Not anger, not pride. Clarity. These people judged everything by appearance. By status. By surface. They couldn't see value unless it was wrapped in polish. Eli decided that just this once he would show them, not to prove himself, but to teach them. After the CEO's laughter faded, Eli simply nodded and reached for the driver's door. "I'll move it," he said again, calm and steady. Behind him, the investors were still chuckling. "Does it even run?" One of them joked. "Probably held together with duct tape." Another added. The CEO smiled thinly. "Nice hobby, though. We appreciate employees with hobbies." The words were polished, but the tone was dismissive. Performative kindness layered over condescension. Eli didn't respond. He opened the door. Before he could get in, a manager approached him. Someone whose office Eli had cleaned for years. "Hey, Eli," the man said awkwardly. "Maybe park in the back lot from now on. We've got important guests today." Eli looked at him. "This is the employee lot." "I know, but optics." "Optics," Eli repeated quietly. "Just for today, Bob. Move it to the back." Eli nodded. Sure. He was used to being asked to stay out of sight. Then he saw Noah. The boy was walking in from the bus stop, backpack bouncing against his shoulders. It was early release day. School ended at noon. Eli had promised to take him straight to set up his science fair project. Noah noticed the crowd, noticed the Mustang, noticed the laughter. He walked up confused. "Dad? What's going on?" Eli rested a hand on his son's shoulder. "Nothing, buddy, just moving the car." One of the investors noticed Noah. "This your kid?" "Yes," Eli said. "I like cars," Noah added proudly. "My dad built the engine in this one. It's amazing." The investor smiled politely. "I'm sure it is, buddy." They didn't believe him. They thought it was a child exaggerating, proud of his father's little hobby. Noah looked up at Eli. "Dad, should we show them?" Eli hesitated. He didn't want a scene. Didn't want to prove anything. But Noah's eyes were bright, hopeful, full of belief. Eli exhaled. "Okay, just for a second." He popped the hood. The investors gathered, not with respect, but curiosity mixed with amusement. They expected clutter, amateur work, something barely functional. Instead, they froze. The engine was pristine, clean, custom fabricated components, precision engineering that didn't belong in a car, that looked like it had been forgotten by time. One investor, an engineer, leaned in closer. "This isn't stock," he murmured. "No," Eli said. "It's completely custom." "What's the displacement?" 3.5 liters. Hybrid electric assist. Regenerative braking. Adaptive fuel mapping. The engineer's eyes widened. "You built this?" "Yes." "Where did you get the specs?" "I designed them." Silence. This wasn't a hobby. This was professional. Exceptional. "Can you start it?" the engineer asked. Eli looked at Noah. Noah nodded eagerly. Eli turned the key. The engine came alive, not loud, not aggressive, but smooth, powerful, controlled. A deep, perfect rumble. No vibration. No hesitation. The engineer staggered back slightly, pulling out his phone. He scrolled rapidly, comparing schematics, his hand shaking. "This architecture," he whispered. "I know this." He looked up at the CEO. "Do you know what this is?" She shrugged weakly. "An old car." "No," he said firmly. "This is the same engine design Autotech Solutions is trying to acquire." The parking lot went silent. The one valued at $2 billion. The CEO's smile vanished. The engineer showed her the patent filings. Same core design. Same structure. He turned to Eli. "How do you have this?" Eli spoke calmly. "Because I designed it 7 years ago. I submitted it to my previous employer. They rejected it." "What company?" the engineer asked. "Apex Automotive." The engineer stared. "You're Eli Parker, the Parker who filed the original hybrid propulsion patent." "Yes." The CEO blinked. "Wait, you're an engineer?" "I was," Eli said. "Now I'm a janitor." "Here." She looked shaken. "Why didn't you tell us?" "You didn't ask," Eli replied. "And it didn't matter. I needed a job that let me raise my son." Noah stood beside him, beaming. The engineer exhaled slowly. "Do you realize what you have?" "Yes," Eli said. "But I built it for him." He closed the hood. "I'm late for my son's science fair." Eli and Noah got into the Mustang and drove away, leaving the executives standing in stunned silence. That afternoon, the CEO called an emergency meeting. Dr. Marcus Chun, the investor engineer, presented the truth. Eli Parker is one of the most innovative hybrid propulsion engineers in the industry. He displayed patents, filing schematics. Apex rejected his design. He built it himself, in his garage. "Autotech's patent?" the CFO asked. "Nearly identical, valued at $2 billion. The room went quiet. "We mocked him," the CEO said softly. That evening, she knocked on Eli's apartment door. It was small, modest, filled with photos of Noah and school projects taped to the walls. "I came to apologize," she said, "and to help." Eli listened as she explained the patent situation. "I know," he said. "Then why haven't you fought it?" "Because I don't have time for lawsuits," Eli replied. "I have a son." She offered legal support, partnership, resources. Eli considered. "I have conditions." He named them. Family first, creative control, a full scholarship for Noah, and respect for everyone. The CEO agreed. The next day, the announcement went public. Eli Parker, Chief Engineer, Hybrid Propulsion Division. Autotech settled. The engine was officially valued at $2.3 billion. Eli became wealthy overnight, but his life barely changed. Same apartment, same Mustang, same priorities. Noah's science fair project won first place. "My dad taught me that good ideas don't need permission," Noah said on stage. Months later, Eli's engine entered production. At the launch ceremony, the CEO stood before the crowd. "I judged someone by appearance," she said, "and I was wrong." She pointed to Eli. "Innovation doesn't come with uniforms." Employees, janitors, guards, cafeteria workers thanked Eli. "You always mattered," he told them. Years later, Noah stood in a museum beside his father's engine on display. "Was it really junk?" he asked. Eli smiled. "Only to people who didn't look deeper." They walked out to the parking lot. The Mustang was still chipped, still worn, still perfect, and they drove home together, ready to build whatever came next. Because real value isn't on the surface. It's under the hood.